My name is Janel Young. I go by JY Originals. I am an artist, muralist, creator, and artist advocate, I would say. People often ask me how did I get into art, but I honestly think art found me. I don't really remember a moment where I started creating. I think it was just because I was so young. But I think that maybe around third grade, I kind of really was into coloring and making my own characters and things like that. And one of my art teachers in elementary school, she encouraged me to learn different techniques and new things. So she kind of took me under her wing, and she then told my parents that maybe I should go to art camp, which I didn't really know was a thing. I ended up going to an art camp at Rogers Kappa, then actually applying to go to Rogers, and got in and was a visual arts major for middle school, 6th through 8th grade. Once a week, we would go literally on Tuesdays. We would go off site, and it was a group of us, small group, and we would create a mural together as a group, and we would implement. So quite a different experience for me, being able to do that, but it really did kind of kickstart my brain into oh, I can create things that are large scale. And then I realized how much I actually enjoyed painting itself, the physical part of it. And I carried that with me through the rest of my life. The journey of creating public art is challenging. It is testing. There are so many factors that people just don't see, things that are happening behind the scenes. I like to say that painting is 10% of the job, even though that's the part that is the most public and what most people see. For me personally, projects usually start 3 to 6 months before the actual painting even begins. So there's a conversation that has to happen with a client, or perhaps I'm applying for something. Maybe there's a request for qualifications out there, and so I'm submitting my artwork, my work samples. Maybe there's some writing that goes along with it to essentially give an idea of what I'm capable of and what I would like to do and present in whatever context or site that is. I am originally from Pittsburgh, so I love being here to do work and projects. Even though I've moved to several other cities, I always come home to do work. And honestly, the art scene had changed so much from when I first started doing art, as a kid in middle school and then even high school. People in Pittsburgh had no clue that I was an artist. So that was actually a huge challenge for me that I embraced. One of the first projects I did when I came back from New York was the first basketball court in Belsuver, the Home Court Advantage project. And Jamil Bey, also from Belsuver, knows my family very well. He was calling me and saying okay, you're doing these murals in Brooklyn and Harlem, when does Pittsburgh get? And I'm look, if you help me find a way, I will make it happen. And that's what we did. So that was the basketball court. The Belsuver Consensus Group rallied behind me for that. And after that, I felt I was kind of put back on the map in Pittsburgh, and then in a different light as an artist. I've had a few really great projects that people come up to me and say oh, you're the person who did this, I saw this and it made me feel XYZ, and that to me is everything. It fills my heart when there's kids who can see a public artist working and doing their job, and they can say this is something to aspire to, this is something that's a valid career. Make sure it's noted that you do not have to necessarily do this full time to be who you are. I took so many valuable lessons from working a corporate job before becoming a full-time artist, and I did both for a little while, and it's helped me tremendously. I think that Pittsburgh deserves good public art, and if I'm able to contribute to that, I'm not gonna say no.